Okay, hello, everybody. How are you doing? Craig Adams here from New York City, back from Colombia. Just recently uploaded hiking 40 miles. We're going to talk about that today. We're going to break it down, give you a guide. We're going to talk about the behind the scenes, how I did the trip, how you can do the trip, how I did the hike, how you can do the hike if you want to. I hope to inspire that. Provide that information. Holy hell. Okay, we got all of the YouTube people coming in. How are y'all doing? Where are y'all from? Y'all know the... All right, yeah. All the locations are coming in. We've got an international audience. We've got Twitch gang. We've got YouTube gang. Welcome, yeah. So first off, 2 months between videos. This was the longest gap that I've ever had for YouTube uploads. So yeah, thanks for being patient. You know, times are weird. It's been tough to travel, but I feel like we're getting back to it. So I was just happy to get back into the mountains and pet some dogs and drink some coffee. See where coffee's from. Damn. Okay, Japan, India, Namaste from India, Germany, Argentina. Ooh, I'm jealous. I would love to be. Israel, United Kingdom. I would love to go hike in Scotland right now. Brazil. I started some research. I found a couple spots to hike in Brazil. Kazakhstan, South Africa. It'd be a long flight, but I do have some hikes to do in South Africa. That's awesome. Colombia, nice. Happy to see some Colombians in the chat. Hi from Chernobyl. Yeah, I'm sure. Hong Kong, Mount Everest. Okay, y'all are trolling. I love it. South Africa, India, Turkey, Italy. Ciao bella. I don't know if that's grazie, right? Thank you. Spain. Damn, I'm jealous. These are all the places I want to be. I wish I could teleport around, hike around. Yeah, thank you so much for coming in. This is our second YouTube live stream. I upload a YouTube video and I go live and talk about it here. This video will be recorded. Oh,
4 months.
Hey,
Hello.
4 months Twitch gang. Alex, thanks. Yeah, this video will be recorded and uploaded to the Craig Adams Streams channel, which is new. I talked about that in the video. But yeah, let's get into it. The behind the scenes of the making, we're going to do a final cut. I've got my MacBook Air right here, all good to go. I can share that timeline with you. As soon as I do this stream, show you the timeline, and then finish part 2 and part 3 of the Instagram micro stories that I'm doing from the trip, I'm just going to delete the project. I've started saving my footage, and you know, I've got that backed up in the cloud because more and more brands are starting to license the footage. A lot of Italians might recognize the footage from, you know, a travel show, stuff like that. So yeah, I'm saving my footage, but once I get these things done, I can delete that footage and have nothing, no projects, on to the next one. And we'll talk about where to hike next. I think that's how we're going to wrap it up. But If you have any questions throughout the stream about how I shot this project, how I went on this trip, let me know. Because hopefully anyone who watches the video can come to this video to get more insight and just learn how they can do it better. So we'll pretty much do a commentary. We'll break through. Yeah. And we're also going to show the Google Maps, the all trails. Yeah, we can like fly around with Google Maps. It's like a infinite drone. So let's get into it. We are going to be talking about, that is the timeline. Okay. Yeah, we're going to be talking about this video. So within the first 48 hours, it's got 66,000 views, which is #1. So if I look into my dashboard stats, it's #1 out of the last 10 videos for this amount of views. So y'all have come back and forth, forced to check out this video. Thank you so much. Huge shout out to Tony Anderson, the dude, for practically scoring the entire video with his music bed tracks. Really good. New album. It was perfect for silent hiking stuff. Therapist is back. Yeah. So great. Thanks for all the comments. Thanks for watching this video. Thanks for caring. And I know 2 months between videos is a bit much. I'm going to try to shoot for at least 1 video every month. And I've got a pretty good schedule coming in. Yeah, a lot of y'all wanted the umbrella. So I did update the website, and it's not the exact umbrella I used, but I did some research and I'm team umbrella now. I added the umbrella and hand warmers to the website. So we in it. Cool. So let's just jump right into the timeline. How about that? So I'm editing in Final Cut. I've been using this for almost a decade, I believe. Just used to it. I like it. It's pretty minimal, in my opinion. Sound blending, yeah. So I'm gonna go through and pretty much do a commentary of this video. But if you have any questions, just let me know. Just real quick, didn't shoot too much footage. Just one single timeline. I should have saved the in and out points, like the rough cut, but this is the final film timeline. And once again, if you know me and how I edit, I like to detach the audio and then do my crossfades. So you'll see crossfades on every end pretty much of all of these. And I'll adjust these levels. The audio makes so much difference. Also, big things you'll notice, a lot of the songs are broken up. So you'll notice I don't just use songs in their entirety. Good morning, y'all. Thanks for the sub on Twitch. Yeah, I'll break music tracks up, find the pace cuts, make it work so that it ends at the right moment. The pace works, the different moments hit. So you'll notice that. Tony Anderson's making some good tracks, but I want it customized even more. So if you're not editing your tracks in your videos, you should consider that, because you can almost always make it perfect. You can like extend it or shorten it or change like different moments. So yeah. And then of course Claire de Lune at the end. So the template, the structure of this video, I guess the hike kind of starts right here in chapter 2. I broke it into 3 chapters. Typically my silent hiking videos are just going to be like the hike. Like that's kind of what the promise I make is, by titling it the way it is and showing the thumbnail. And people sign up and subscribe to the channel for the hikes, but showing more of the trip. That's kind of my roots, and it's a part of the hike, to be honest, the beginning, middle, and end. So I enjoy that. I'm always going to do whatever I want to do with the channel. So yeah, pretty much the hike is right here. 3 days. It's pretty good. You know, a lot of the past hikes have been like overnight stuff, so shorter videos, but this video is almost like what, 25 minutes long. Yeah. I could have done what I did with the Guatemala video, with like the voiceover, but I like to do silent every so often. Like this is back to my roots with the Hornstrand Deer video with the silent. So once again, I can do whatever I want. It's just whatever I'm feeling. That's my motto. I can do whatever I want. I hope to keep it that way. I value my freedom above all. Thank you, Music Bed, for sponsoring this video. I keep things simple, but every so often it's nice to do like a little mask wipe, right? It's fun. A little push in right at the beginning, but all the other shots are pretty much static. How's that audio? I think that sounds fine, right? Yeah, okay, you can hear that. Yeah, so most of these beginning travel shots were on the iPhone. I've got it linked, it's the newest model, whatever, you know. I've been teasing trying to do like an iPhone only thing, but it's just not there yet, especially in low light. You can see like this is me just freehand. It's good for, I don't want to pull out my camera because it's going to take a lot of time and bring too much attention. And these shots aren't really that important. Like I could have shot all of these with the Sony, but yeah, the handheld feel. And you kind of get a sense that like the video starts right here with the much better camera, the $7,000, $8,000 kit versus the, well, iPhone's kind of expensive these days anyway. So -6 decibels for audio, bro. Yeah, I guess it depends. You really have to just go through multiple passes of the audio just to make sure it feels right. I think I got the audio pretty much good in this one. There are a couple things I would have tweaked after the publishing of the video. Once you publish it, it's over. It's like, it is what it is. I do think that my voice was a bit loud. So I did +8 decibels after the recording. I probably would have notched that down to 5 dB. And I think that's probably the only major difference I would have done with the audio. Yeah. When does the Q&A start in this Q&A? Hey, we got a lot of things coming by. It's hard to pick what to do. I'm trying my best. Yeah. Just doing my best. If there's a good question, you can spam it. I give permission to spam it. Super cheap, direct flights. I just book one ways because I don't know how long my trip is going to be. Delta flight was like 200. Just carry on, and that's check bag for the Bogota section. I'm getting a little too old to be doing long flights. Like it'd be great to go to Nepal right now, but it's just like such a long flight. What's the music in the stream? Yeah, I can share that real quick. It's the girl. Of course it is. Oh yeah, did I have to get vaccinated? Okay, so I would love to get vaccinated, but in New York State we can't get it.
France 3.
Hey, thanks for that sub on Twitch. Appreciate you. I just had to get a COVID test before this, and it's pretty easy in New York. And then I got a COVID test before I flew out and left and returned to New York. So 2 COVID tests for this trip. And yeah, visas were easy. Colombia wants tourists, so nothing too crazy. A couple bus rides, pretty basic, pretty standard, you know. I will say Colombia, everyone's wearing masks. Everyone was being very respectful, 6 feet. They were at the terminals, all of the like public large building areas. Police were, at every entrance. And a lot of hand sanitizer at every entrance to every restaurant, every store. Almost every major place has someone there to stop you, squirt hand sanitizer in your hand, and a lot of shoe cleaning as well. I don't know what that was about, but yeah. Finally made it to Salento. Beautiful, cute little colonial town. It's like in every country, every hike, I'll fly into a major city and just try to get to the hiking town, the small town as quickly as possible because, I'm sure there's some cool things like food and architecture and whatnot in Bogota. Ugh, I need to remember how to say that, but the small towns are so much better. How do I like my new camera? Yeah, you know how excited I was when the A7S Mark II came out, and this is just that, but better. So it's been interesting with the lens because it's ultra wide. It's like 12 to 24, which I think is just a little too much. It's just, I kind of miss my 16 to 35, to be honest, because there's some tight shots that I want to be a little tighter. 24 isn't enough. 35 is pretty perfect. Yeah, so there might be a lens swap. We'll see in the future. 1635 is probably lighter. They're very similar. The difference between those two lenses is very, very negligible. Oh, that's a trouble word. This was also the first trip that I tried the DJI Mini 2 drone. So this is their newest small drone, and you know, a little lacking on the quality, but I think it's fine. And especially if I'm trying to do like multiple day hikes, this type of quality is 4K. It's enough. The biggest thing is the connection to the controller and how it does against wind. I didn't have any problems with this drone, and I've tried every single drone under the sun that DJI has made. I would like the quality to be better. I'm sure their Mini 3 will be a better quality, like the camera, lens, low light. The noise is a little intense with this one, but this quality is totally fine. And I will say this hike was some of the toughest shooting conditions, like the clouds and the light and the mud and the rain made this a really tough hike. A lot of you all picked up on how tough this hike was for me just from the video, and yeah, it was a rough one. Glad I did. PewDiePie, yes, I cannot say that word. And I'm not even Swedish. Oh, terrible. Just the tiny batteries on that thing make it worthy. Yeah, so I have the mini drone, and then can you see it here? Yeah, in the background you can kind of see 3 batteries go into that little battery charger holder. And that's all I had, those 3 batteries and the drone. And that was totally enough for these 3 days. I think 1 battery per day is like fine. It just depends on how much you want to shoot, but for me, this was fine. If I was doing like a week-long hike, I might buy some more batteries, or I would bring another portable charger to recharge those, but you know, it is what it is. So this is what the weather was like. It's just like overcast and rainy a lot. I went to this coffee tree hostel. It was like one of the nicer ones that I could find in town, and it had these two giant dogs in the reviews and description. I was like, sold. Sold for sure. Dogs everywhere, food, rained every day, lots of coffee to drink. I enjoyed just like, you know, acclimatizing. Just someone was asking, is like, how do you what are your recommendations for acclimatizing? I'm like, just don't drink beer and wait. That's all you have to do. I remember the first time I went to Peru, Cusco, I went out drinking the night I got there, and the altitude hit me so hard, but I feel pretty good. I felt pretty good on this hike. Cost of the travel, the bus rides are like less than $1 each. I probably made like 6 or 7 of those. The food, I guess, maybe is like $10, $20 a day, maybe total. I was there for like a week, 10 days or whatever. Airfare was like $200 each way.
Hello.
Good morning, y'all. Hey, thanks for that sub on Twitch. I don't know. So I was like sub $1,000 for sure. I think each night I got a private room in this nice hostel. They think there was like $15 a night, maybe. I don't know. Very cheap. This was delicious. I don't know how to say the word, but a Colombian recommended this, and I'm glad she did. Yeah, little viewpoint. I didn't see any other Americans. I didn't see any other. The town was pretty empty. There were a couple Colombian tourists, but I didn't really see any non-South American people. So it's definitely a quiet trip. Same thing with Guatemala. That was a quiet trip as well. Yeah. How heavy is my pack when I have to pack all of my own food? Yeah, it gets heavier. But it gets lighter as you eat. I would say Iceland, I had to pack all my food, so that was probably the most, maybe? I don't know, I'd have to look through my roster, but I barely brought any food on this trip. I think I just had 2 things of beef jerky, some nuts, like almonds, and I packed some cheese. I think that's about it, to be honest. Oh, and some candy bars, like Snickers, like 3 or 4 of those. Yeah, because I knew there were huts and farms, and whenever I could, I bought food from the farmers. So I wasn't able to weigh my pack, but this was definitely not that full. I had ice, the crampon or the micro spikes,
shout out for all
which I didn't need.
it. Oh!
Yeah. So this definitely was not the heaviest. The pack was probably 80% full, 70. So it wasn't that bad. Yeah, the grabbing an umbrella beforehand was a major key. I actually shopped for boots. Do I have footage of that? Yeah, right here. So this is Kraig going in to shop for boots. Good morning, y'all. Which would have worked well, you know. There's going to be mud. I knew there was going to be mud and rain. And to be honest, it wasn't that bad with my shoes because you just wash them off at the end of the day and then they just dry. Like, you're wet the whole time, so it doesn't matter. It just would have sucked to do 40 miles in brand new rubber boots. Good morning, y'all. So I'm kind of glad I didn't go with the boots. And I also couldn't find my size. We tested every size we could, or we just tried to get the biggest boot possible. It was just like a hard no. And I couldn't find like a size 13, which is okay. Met some cool people at the hostel. You know, when you're traveling alone, you go out of your way to make friends. So, yeah. But I also love, yeah, just being alone. I love going at my own pace. I love being able to control, you know, whatever I'm up to, and I don't have to worry about anyone else. You know, I'm just responsible for myself. So, and I also think being okay being alone is fine. Like, it's something you can practice and get better at. And I think the more we can sit and not have to always have something or not always have someone, you know, better off. That's a good foundation for life, I guess. I don't know. Oh, and I bought a couple bananas last minute before I hopped in this Jeep. So there's like a history behind it. I don't know what exactly, but I think these are like military Jeeps that were just like brought to Colombia for cheap or something. Refitted, maybe. I don't know. They're just Jeeps. And they're fun. They're very colorful. There's always a bunch of them right in the plaza, the main area, to bring you to the valley. And when I showed up, it was pretty gorgeous. The sun was out. The clouds were okay. To be honest, this isn't that great. Like, this type of weather is really bad for video, as you can see. I overexposed this shot in general, but still, like, having just a little bit of blue, but then mostly just blown out white clouds, it doesn't look good. So these first couple of shots are just, I overexposed them a tiny bit, but even if I expose them correctly for everything below the mountain line, it's just bad shooting conditions, terrible shooting conditions. And this is a little better because the camera is able to tilt down, but still, oh man. And then the fog rolled in. I was like, okay, now you can't see anything. So I'm like, we're off to a great start. Whatever. Am I an introvert? I guess. What's my webcam? craigadams.com has everything that I use. So you can see the computer Final Cut Pro? I love it, yeah. Do you ask or tell people you will film, or you just set up and do it? Yeah, if you're in public, I guess in America, if you're in public, you can't stop anyone from filming.
Good morning, y'all.
Good morning, y'all. If someone asked me like to stop filming or not to film them, of course I would respect that. But I've never had any issue of people telling me or bothering me because of my camera, especially abroad. Like domestically and internationally, I've never had any issue just because I'm respectful. Like I will always respect. I should go to Scotland. Yeah, I would love to, but I can't. So, a lot of people are recommending these places, but it's kind of pointless because I literally cannot travel to Scotland or Iceland or Spain or Italy right now. So yeah, chill. Yep. So I was excited to hike as usual. I'm very giddy at the start of hikes, but the weather and the fog and the rain, I knew it was going to make things tough. And even with a shot like this, overexposed a little bit. I'm still trying to get used to the new camera. So I kind of need to just expose everything maybe a third of a stop lower, which I can just do a global change on the camera, fix that. But this weather is just not good for filming. It made it really tough. Really tough. Greetings from Norway? Yeah. Do you go out of your way to save money on airfare? No, I book everything maybe 2 or 3 days before I fly. Yeah, I like Google's pretty good at telling you what the average price and like if you're overpaying or underpaying. So it's not that bad. But I got direct flights from Bogota to New York City each way, and it was like $200. So flights are cheap right now, obviously. Catadine working like a beast. Love the filter. I barely have to carry water. And people were asking me just water in general. It's raining every day. It's mountains. The temperature, the climate, the topography. Like I know where the water is, and I know there's a lot of it. There's more than enough water. So I can filter it with the Catadine, and it's just infinite water. And the less you have to carry, the better. So I just drink when I stop and take breaks, and I barely keep the water in the bladder because it's just extra weight to carry for no reason. So yeah, pretty simple. Yeah. Greetings from Oregon. Yeah. What camera am I using right now? On craigadams.com, you can see it. Yeah. Future treks list. Yeah, we need to automate that. We're gonna wrap up this stream with like where I should hike next, so you can just save all of that. There's no need to spam it right now. And I'm thinking about making a Reddit for it, so we'll see. Because I'd love to have some kind of voting system. This is I think this is a 16 or 14. 12? Is my lens 12? I don't know. Jeez. Oh yeah, the birdhouse was cool. So this was optional. Can I show that? Yeah, let me show that. Cool. So this is a all trails map that I made of the route that I did. So I flew into Bogota and then took a short flight to Pereira. And then in Pereira, I went to there's a bus terminal in every South American country. Very easy to find. And once you get there, you just look for where you're going. You jump on the bus, super cheap. And then that took me for 45 minutes to Salento, which was the colonial town. And then I took the little Jeep ride to Coquera, Val de Coquera Valley. And then this was the, 40 miles. So it says 32 right now, 33. But I'm basing that on my actual recorded because, this isn't the exact route that I went because, you could get an infinite amount of miles based on zigzags for a line. Math, I don't know. And then also there were some mess ups with, here, You can't see it. There were some mess ups with this section right here, so I had to change the elevation gain that I did. So all trails ain't perfect. That's fine though. It's totally fine. Skydio 2, I don't know what that is. Is that a drone? I'm totally happy with DJI. I've had some other drone companies reach out to do sponsorships, but I'm fine. Your favorite part of the Colombia hike? Definitely the hot tub, which we'll get to. Yeah. What editing app do I use? Final Cut X. Yeah, that's an easy one. What did you enjoy the most about interacting with Colombians? Everyone was super nice, especially on the coffee farm. So I'll get to that. I'll get to like how I went to the coffee farm in the first place. That's a good story. Yeah, that jacuzzi, I felt that. Worst injury? I've had plantar fasciitis, which is just like a swollen, I don't know, whatever on the bottom of your foot. It's just like a sore foot, and it hurts the most when I walk in the city, obviously, because it's much harder ground. But that's been ever since I started hiking. I've had that, and it just probably will never go away.
I saw your Trans Catalina Trail video. So guess where I am going on Monday? Tears of joy.
Nice, runner girl. Enjoy. Hopefully it's greener than when I went. It was kind of a desolate wasteland. It's not always like that. There are times when it's nicer. So enjoy that. Yeah, if you're in California, you should go. I feel like it's a rite of passage. So this was the little birdhouse. So this was optional and totally worth it. Very quick little thing. And they have cheese, they have coffee, they have hummingbirds. So it was really cool. I love hearing the flapping of the birds. That's the best part. They were just very gorgeous. Okay, let's switch back. So I got my cheese. Lots of cheese in Colombia. Everyone's giving you cheese and coffee. Basically everywhere you go, they give you cheese and coffee. So yeah, they were pretty friendly. They really want this sugar water. So I just put my camera up and then just let them do their thing. But they weren't too skittish, you know. And I met this guy. What was his name? Santiago. He's a filmmaker. He spoke some English, so it was nice just like chatting with him. And he's a photographer with some cool shots. And he took a photo of me, which I posted at the end of the hiking video. Yeah. Yes. Any language barriers? People spoke English pretty well. I'm learning un poquito en español. I would love to learn more languages though, especially Spanish. I took French in school, so I can speak a little bit of French, and that helped me for Tour de Mont Blanc. But I listen to music and podcasts and audiobooks on these hikes, but I think it would be really cool to get some language stuff as well. And especially if I'm just out by myself in wilderness, I could speak and not sound like a crazy person because I'm all alone. Look at all those chickens.
I just want to say your work is phenomenal.
Thank you.
And has inspired me to get back into shooting time-lapse and hiking.
Nice. I do not have the patience for time lapse. There's such mathematical and skill involved in time lapse and scheduling, and you have to wake up early and stay there. Yeah, lots of effort. So cheers to that. Good job. Thank you though. Look at all those chickens. Man, I miss Vine. Do I feel old? Or do I sound old? I miss Vine. This guy was great. I ran into probably more horses and donkeys than people on this trail. Once again, I didn't see any other tourists. No American, no European, no other hikers other than Colombia. So it was very quiet on the trails. Pretty well marked. The elevation started to hit me, getting up there. Still in the lush green once again, the weather is just not good for shooting. Like you can see, it's just all the sky is blown out, and there's just did I overexpose this? Yeah, so I overexposed most shots, and just to fix it a little bit, I would bring down the mids, I believe. And that's probably the most I did for color correction. No grading in this film, just correction, which I'll do if I mess up. I literally made a mistake by overexposing. Do I research before the hike beforehand? Yeah, I do. I do a lot of research. I'll watch any YouTube videos I find. I'll Google it. I'll look at blog articles that people have made. And then I'll just look at the map on all trails. You know, I'll look at the typography. I'll just, you know, just looking at this map tells me so much. I can see these spots. I'll look at reviews just to make sure they're open. I need to figure out what places have running. Every place has water, but like what places have cooked food that I can buy. You know, I knew there was nothing here. There's nothing here. It's just for tents. I know this might be something, but I wasn't sure. Turns out there was absolutely nothing. Nothing. Wild animals? I am not worried about wild animals at all. That is just hyped up, you know. Unless you're in bear country, you need bear canisters and bear spray. Like, you just gotta be smart about it. Yeah, people worry about animals just too much. It's just not an issue. I would probably worry about cows more than wild animals or horses. You don't want to you don't want to piss off big stock animals. People can get too close. Definitely the most dangerous animal. You know, I've come across bears, but they were just chilling. You know, I knew how to deal with bears. But the scariest animal moment was definitely Transcanalina. So watch out, runner girl thing. Watch out for those bison. Yeah, that was the scariest moment because I literally had a bunch of them coming at me. Yeah. So what I'm also trying to figure out is look at all those
Does
chickens.
it surprise you when people don't think there are mountains in NY? Love hiking the Adirondacks and love your peaceful hiking videos in the region. Thanks for showing our special little mountains.
Dude, I grew up in the state. I've lived in the state of New York all my life. So, you know, I grew up going to the Adirondacks. Very special, very near and dear to my heart. Probably hiked them more than I've ever hiked anything else. And yeah, good little mountains, little tiny bits of alpine peaks at the top, but yeah, nothing compared to the West Coast, to be honest. And then nothing compared to just all around the world. You know, it's crazy once you start hiking everywhere because yeah, it's good if you could start with some small hills and some small mountains and then just keep broadening your perspective. But yeah, I'll always go back to the Adirondacks every fall. Definitely a tradition. So one thing that I'm always trying to figure out is at what point do you get out of the woods into the alpine open area where there are no trees? And that was right about here for me. Yeah. So this was that little hut that I showed in my timeline. You come up really steep right here, and then right here you come out into alpine. So everything past here was all open grassland or whatever. This was my first view of this boy right here. On a good day, you can see the peak with the snow from Salento. So I just had overcast clouds, so you couldn't see it, but it's possible to see this. We know maybe it's the other peak. Where is it? I don't know. Oh, it's like right here. I don't know. Anywho, back to the timeline. Did you return the same track? No, I did a big circle. Yeah, we'll talk about that. I planned on doing an out and back, but I changed my route. Yeah. Would you make a video about bear encounters? Probably not. If I do another bear, I'm definitely gonna do more bear area hikes this year domestically. So I can talk about bear stuff. There's a podcast on the Craig Adams Streams YouTube channel all about Alaska where I talk about bears, how much I learned, what you should do. So it's kind of already been done. I don't think a specific video for bear encounters makes sense for me though. You know, I'm not about that. Yeah. How often do you stop to set up your camera and get a shot? How long does it take to... yeah, so I'll carry my camera dangling. Look at all those chickens. And then I'll carry my tripod in my hand just because I like the balance and I can use it as like a pole sometimes. I don't carry trekking poles, so. But I will stop whenever I feel like it. Yeah, you can see the number of shots and then the 3 days. So you can divide that by the 8 or 10 hours that I was hiking each day, I guess. I don't know, maybe a half an hour every shot. It just is different. Like if I'm doing a stretch of just endless woods, you know, it's kind of all the same. There's no reason to do 3 shots when 1 shot is fine. Unless the light changes, there's no reason to shoot the same type of shot. You know what I mean? Me walking from point A to B in woods, there's no reason for 3 of those. Unless I have to show that time has changed. You know, now it's sun is setting, then I would shoot that. But I'm really just capturing the shots to show change. Change in location, change in time, change in my mood. And then if anything interesting happens, it just connects those into sections. So it's not that difficult. I could shoot more, I could shoot less. It's just whatever I want. Yeah. What kind of hiking shoes do I recommend? I only recommend what I use, and craigadams.com has everything. Any gear, any tool, any service I use, everything's there. I was using the Cascadia 15s here. You can see them just a little bit right here. I still have these shoes, but they're starting to get holes from this hike. Once you get shoes wet, they start to break much easier. So they're breaking. So I just bought a new pair. I think they're like $130. So they're not cheap, but these shoes are pretty dope. I love these shoes. And then I'll replace the soles every so often. So I can't read the name. Bilong? I can't remember. But this beef jerky is awesome. It's made in New Zealand. Trying to get them for a sponsor.
Did you quarantine when you got to Colombia?
Yo, my life is a quarantine. So after this, you can see I'm snacking. Sun is out and rain. So a lot of time between these 2 shots, I put my camera away just for when it was pouring. And before this shot, I legit had to like cower underneath like a tree, a canopy, because it was thundering and hailing. So they were like, you know, small Dippin' Dot sized hail pieces, and it was coming down. It was really rough for about 20 minutes, and then it started raining again, subsided a little bit. Biltong. Okay, cool. I'd love to get them as a sponsor. I love their stuff. Yeah, and just handheld. Like I could have shot this with the Sony, but I don't know, if I'm doing handheld, I kind of like to change the camera. Like you obviously see it's like handheld, it's lower quality, it's more like, oh, an emergency situation, it's raining, I'm tired, it's muddy, there's snow on this bridge. Like I made it out of the woods into this open area, and it would have been good. I should have gotten a Sony tripod shot of that transition in that moment, but it was just raining so much. I just didn't want to yet. So, and you can see the mud. Oh man. Yeah. You would try to walk where it's dry and there's grass on the sides as much as you can, but every so often you just fall right into the mud and just get mud up to your ankle. And then you'd be like, oh, well, now it's all mud. It's all wet. So why not? And then you just walk through the mud. So this was still at the point when I was trying to escape and stay dry. but it's in this kind of situation, it's just a losing battle. On a hike where it's raining every day, it's just constantly wet.
Any plans for hike in India? If yes, when and where?
India, yeah, so northern India, I guess. I'm not sure if there are any hikes that I'm interested in southern India, where most of the people live. And if I'm going to India, I'd probably just go to Nepal. I feel like they're very similar in culture. Along the border between is where I would be hiking. So I don't know if you can think of anything. Once we get, where I should go next section, we can talk about that. But I think Nepal looks pretty great. I've just got a long list of stuff I want to do in Nepal. Same thing with China. Like I could go to China, but I would rather just go to Nepal. It's just easier. Obviously different, big countries, different things, but Nepal's pretty great. I love Nepal. So yeah, just clean the mud off. Doesn't matter. Finally put the umbrella away because it stopped raining. Got somewhat of a view. Still overcast, still just tired, legs shaking a little bit. You can see the mud. Getting a little cold. And this was when I probably had a couple more miles until the farmhouse. So I was just like booking it. I just was tired. It was getting cold. I don't want to show up to the place at night. That's always kind of a little weird. You want to be there in the daytime. So I was fighting the sunset, racing, and I lost. So when it's muddy and wet like this, I would compare it to the Adirondacks because the Adirondacks are usually wet and rooted and very dense vegetation, which is way different than if you're hiking in Colorado or Oregon or whatever. It's very, it's like highways. The trail is flat and straight, and there's no divots or mud or mostly anything. So you just go so much slower on stuff like this. And the Adirondacks, I'd be lucky if I could do 10, 11, 12 miles per day. But in California, in Colorado, I can do 30, 40 miles in a day.
Are you using autofocus or manual focus with Sony A7 cameras?
Yeah, so I'm using manual focus pretty much 99% of the time. And yeah.
Thank you for your content. It has inspired my GF and I to aim for Chile next year. Any chance you'll do El Salvador?
El Salvador, Chile. I don't think I've researched that one. Is that a good one? I would love to get back down to Patagonia area, Chile. I want to go back to Peru, but the temperature, the climate's just not right. I want to hit all these spots at the right time. So I'm actually making a schedule of when I should go to all these places, but Chile sounds great. I would love to go back to Patagonia. I think that was just over a year ago. Such a great hike.
A7S3 versus BMPC C6K Pro for travel? How do you ensure gear safety when traveling?
Oh, I just throw it in. Everyone's got these fancy camera backpacks and stuff, but you know me, I'm a minimalist. I barely have anything. I keep my lens. I never have dust on my sensor because the lens never leaves my camera, which is a life hack. Do that. Don't have dust on your sensor. Only have one lens, and that'll fix that problem for you. So, yeah, the only the drone is fine. It's a piece of plastic, so it's whatever. I will wrap the camera with a whatever piece of clothing I have when I travel, and that's about it. You don't need a special case for your camera. You just wrap it with a sweatshirt or a coat, and that's more than enough. I keep all the expensive things in my Hyperlight when I'm flying, and that's my carry-on. I can fly carry-on with my Hyperlight, my laptop bag, which just slides into the back of my Hyperlight, and then also my duffel. All of that can be carry-on, and I've done that a lot. But if it's free and easy, from New York to Bogota, I'll check a bag.
You should visit Turkey in 2021 for sure.
Yeah, I think Turkey's pretty cool. Yeah, I think I've done a little bit of research. We gotta crowdsource this trail research. But Blackmagic camera, not interested at all. Never ever been interested. Sony is just killing it. I love. So I like this shot. You know, this is exposed interesting to me. And I love it when you have at least the mud in the water reflecting.
Looks like our usual Seattle hike. Thanks, Kraig.
Oh yeah, Seattle knows the rain. That's the big meme, right? Man, I'll probably get back into the Washington, Portland, Oregon area June maybe. I gotta double check. Yeah, I'm talking with Curtis, Squirty Turtis, my brother, a lot. He's out in California right now doing some trail running. But yeah, we're trying to figure out what trails we want to do, when we want to do it, and we're just ready to go. A lot of domestic stuff this year. It's gonna be great. I'm gonna hit all the big ones like Four Pass Loop, Wind River Range, Glacier National Park. We're gonna go back to Yosemite. I want to go back to Yosemite with Mika. She's never been there. Mount Whitney, Sierras, a lot of the PCT broken up. Probably the PCT highlights a little bit, you know. Just northern Washington. So much to do. I want to do Banff if Canada opens up. It should. Once I'm vaccinated, it's going to be a whole nother world, which will probably, what month is it? It's almost April, right? April, May? Dude, I swear I'm going to be vaccinated within 30 days. Everyone's ahead of schedule. New York City's, US is killing it right now. So I usually don't put titles in, but I think this is interesting. I don't know. How did y'all, let's crowdsource what do y'all think about the titles here? Day one with the miles.
Have you ever looked at hikes in the Caribbean?
No. Are there mountains in the Caribbean? I'm usually looking for mountains. So there's a couple islands that have big mountains like, was it GR20 in the Mediterranean and Reunion Island, and like Tasmania maybe, but I don't know about the Caribbean. We gotta do a big crowdsourcing for where I should go. I really need to start a Reddit so we can upvote, downvote. And it would be helpful for anyone looking for hikes, like not just me, but what do we think about these titles? And I also put in the kilometers, you metric people. I don't know. An American putting metric in, so you like the titles. You like Clark, yeah. You love it, Todd. Rappy. Like the titles for the elevation gains, really cool. Yeah, it's kind of a throwback to the Hornstrand deer, which had the days and the miles broken up as transitions. Oh yeah, you love the chapters too. Yeah. Taiwan has some beautiful stuff. I've heard great things about Taiwan, the culture, the food, the people, the mountains. A lot to hike. And I would like to go before it goes Hong Kong. So man, I got some beans.
Check out Tim Kellner. Which Sony lenses you use?
CraigAdams.com has everything I use. And yeah, I know Tim. He's a Buffalo, New York homie. I went to school in Buffalo. So yeah, this was after like food, but it's a kitchen, it's a farmhouse, they'll cook whatever, but you cook me some beans, some tortillas, some cheese, always with the cheese and the coffee. Super grateful for that. It was a nice little hut, a little spot, lots of farm animals, running water, washed up. There's never any reason to take a shower unless you get like a fancy hotel somewhere on a hike. Like just wash off with water, it's fine. Jump in a lake. I had all of my weather gear for cold weather. I knew it could get cold up there, and I'm glad I brought everything I needed. You know, the temperatures did not drop down to below. I was never cold, but I wore most everything. I could have worn like hat, gloves, sweater, jacket underneath my sleeping bag, but I didn't. So I still had a good 10-15 Fahrenheit degree buffer before I would get cold, so that was totally fine. And of course, having a mattress is fine, but I also slept in the tent on the second night, and that was totally fine. So weather was good. I might have overpacked a little bit for the cold, but then again, I wore the rain jacket and the puff. at different points as the elevation gained. I love this transition. Yeah, I'm always trying to show and not tell, but me going to bed and then cutting to a rooster in the morning, I appreciate that. I love that. That's a good way to transition with audio. It is morning time, my dudes. Yeah, the more information in the video, the better. My feet were good this hike. Felt really good.
Hi, are you planning to come to Russia? To the Ural Mountains, the oldest mountains on Earth, I can help you.
Yeah, I have not researched anything. I don't think All Trails has any maps in Russia. I'm not sure. I haven't researched too much, but I have nothing planned in Russia, so I don't know. That would be interesting. It would definitely be hard to, there'd definitely be a language barrier, so it'd be a high difficulty, it'd be a double diamond when it comes to traveling and hiking. The chickens had an okay view. Once again, overcast, just not the best weather. And it breaks my heart because I think they had clear skies a couple days after I left, which sucks. Like if I knew it was going to be clear skies, like forecast, I would have chilled for 2 or 3 days in town, just like whatever. I could have gone on a coffee farm. I could have just hung out. But the weather forecast was just the same every day. It's going to rain. It's going to rain. It's going to be overcast. So once I felt okay, I executed the hike. Puppies, always dogs everywhere. We got an omelet, farm cheese, and a little pankaku, pancake, and double coffee. I thought this was always funny. Every place I went to, double coffee'd you.
Take care, guys.
Thanks, Betty. Hey, got dope Twitch channel. Everyone should check out the Twitch. Twitch fam, strong. Double coffee. Yeah, maybe one had sugar and one didn't, or one had more milk than the other. I don't know. I'm not complaining. I'm never gonna not say no to double coffee. I've started just loose packing my tent because it just helps to fill the space more. And if it needs to dry, it'll help. I've started, if the tent is wet, which it was after the second day after the hot spring, you just like put it on the outside and it helps to dry. Yeah. But most hikes aren't wet, so it's usually not an issue. Look at all this fog and overcast and just excited. There's nothing better than packing up everything you have and just heading out like at the early start of a day and just being like, see ya. I love it. The puppy. Yes. Good pup just chilling. So many good pups. Yeah, the drone footage was tricky because the weather changed so much with the clouds. So I was like, okay, I can kind of see the peak. So I threw the drone up real quick. Had to color correct the crap out of this because I believe it was on auto and like hit me with strong magenta. Real strong magenta. So I had to tweak that a bit. How many miles in a day? Depends. Yeah, the title show. Yeah. So this shot has a lot of noise. I think this was the noisiest drone shot, which it's bright sunlight. There should be no ISO. I don't know if there's like limited manual settings for these drones, but I don't know, why is there so much drone or noise with this? This is like a beautiful shot, but I tried a denoiser. There's one built in Final Cut, did nothing. So I was just like, whatever, I'm over it. Yeah, so this kind of shows like this is all trees, and as you dip down into the valleys, it's like so fascinating to see the edge between, you know, the tree line and more the alpine shrubberies. Yeah, all the puppers welcome. Yes. Hey, dude. Consider hiking some trails in Glacier National Park? Yeah, of course. I've been there like 2 or 3 times, and I've hiked every time. I just haven't shot a video yet. Yeah, do I ever want to make a narrative film? Not that interesting to me. No, it's just a lot of work. It's not my niche. I'm interested in making more video essays, retrospectives. One on like financial transparency, another update on minimalism, nomadism, just ones on wealth building and happiness in general. And yeah, I've got lots to talk about. We can talk about that at some point though. Doing more podcasts. So if you sign up for the stream YouTube channel, and of course Twitch, you know, Twitch is a different audience and it's more gaming. So that's why we're doing the stream on this channel, because it's hiking focused. Yeah. I had no trouble with the wind for this drone. How many miles in a day? Craig replies, depends.
Hope you will do the Jurassic Coast in the southwest of England one day.
Cool. Yeah, we should add that to the list. I got to crowdsource this research because y'all, that's one thing I get so much in DMs. You should hike here.
Your videos are inspirational. Any advice for someone starting to film hiking videos? Would you ever hike with a subscriber? Cheers from WNY.
Oh yeah, cheers. Thank you. Yeah, just do what you want. Like, don't do it for other people. Don't do it for the money. Because that's how you're going to keep doing it. If you do it for external reasons, you might give up if it doesn't. Just keep your expectations low. Like, just do it because it makes you happy, and whatever happens happens. Like, that's a much better foundation mindset to start from. So yeah, don't compare yourself to other people. Would I hike with the subscriber? It's a lot of work to do like a group hike. I've considered doing like a Hornstrandir hike. That would be pretty fun to go back. I do want to go back to Hornstrandir and do more miles and do it better this time. I've learned a lot since then. That might be cool to bring like, 6 or 7 people with me, but we'll see. It's just so much work, so much responsibility, and I got a good thing going. I like my freedom. It's a solo silent hike, so that would probably be the opposite if I brought subscribers with me. Yeah, obviously it would be a good group, true fans who go on a trip, but it's just a lot. Maybe in the future. So finally started to get some, getting closer to the peak. What, Tolmina? You can see the lighting differences between tripod below and above, or drone above and tripod below. It finally got some blue skies. Like, this is the weather. This is the cloud coverage that I would want. And this is also exposed much better. Okay, yeah, this is exposed. This is straight from camera. I don't use ND filters. Yeah. Yep. Paramos. Yeah, is the 3rd country with more paramos. Cool. Am I doing the PCT? No. I'm probably going to do sections of it, though. You should do a workshop in Iceland. Maybe. Can you please leave this on your channel after? So this video is going to live on the Kraig Adams Streams channel after the fact. So all of your comments, if you're spamming, that's baked in. And I'll see. There's going to be proof. Gonna send you to YouTube jail. I like this shot. Just chilling, genuinely having a snack by the edge of the water, walking up. This was good. I kind of wish I droned this moment because the fog rolled in and I actually couldn't see the peak for the rest of the hike. So this was the last time that I saw this amount of the glacier, the volcano. And you never know. I've learned that, especially with the drone, if the weather's good and you can see what you're hoping to get, like, just drone it. Just shoot it, do it right there, get it done with, because you never know if it's going to be overcast crap or something's going to happen. I've had multiple situations on different trips where I'm like, it's beautiful, but I'll just drone it tomorrow. And then tomorrow comes and it doesn't work. Like, that's happened so many times. Why do I record in 30 over 24? I like 30. It just feels smoother to me. I don't think it matters too much. Yeah. And Instagram is 30. 30's more. So if, you know, a TV program wants to license my footage, they can use the 30, or they could drop it down to 24. I just think 30 is 24, but with extra. So it's just better. And if I shot in 60 frames per second, I guess that's even more, but then you start to have to dip and change the shutter speed, and you don't get as good low light performance. So I think 30 works. I like 30. Don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. Yeah. Yeah. Doing Aconcagua solo. Ooh. Yeah, I love hearing that y'all are going on the hikes after. This was a cool one. This kind of looks like another planet, right? Looks pretty dope. These plants were everywhere. So a bunch of these shots were before this. So I changed the order of this footage a little bit just to get this drone montage. These were actually two different flights stitched together to make it seem like it was one flight. And I went up to the base camp of the summit on this side. So right here is the base camp where people would tent before they tried the summit early the next day. And this was as close as I got to the peak. And so I set my drone up there. And the drone has a limit of like, I don't know, 1,200 feet. Like you can't physically go higher, like it'll stop you. So I couldn't even get to the peak, but this was as high as I could get. I think the crater is above, like we're kind of looking at the false summit of the crater, but I'm not sure. It's gorgeous though. But this was the most visibility I had for the rest of the entire trip. And it was freezing, so I had to put on all of my winter stuff to just sit there and fly the drone. And then I dipped, went around. Yeah, so there were a couple different routes for, like I had to make a decision because right here is that lake. I came up over this hill, and most people will just go this flat route, and you know, it's flatter right here. But I went up a lot of elevation up to this base camp. And then if I wanted to summit, I would have just continued through the base camp up to here. Some people summit from this side. Yeah, so this is, ooh, I was nowhere close. Well, maybe I was looking, oh yeah, I was looking at this right here. So the peak was still far. So that's as far as I got with the drone from here. That's interesting to see because it's got the GPS data. Very interesting. How many other hikers did I pass? Probably less than 10. And like I said, they're all Colombians. Yeah. An aircraft hit the mountain? Wow. Yeah, I believe it. It's very cloudy. So I could have gone that way, but I was like, let me get as close to the peak as I can, send the drone up, and then I can just take this little... This was a little difficult, a lot of ups and downs, obviously, because you can see the streams, and where there's a stream, there's a dip. So it's like up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, instead of just flat right here. But this definitely would have been wetter. This would have been marshy. Like just reading this map, you can tell exactly what kind of experience you're gonna have. And then dip straight down. This didn't take too long. Like I think I had like 3 shots in the film from here to here, and this probably took me 3 or 4 hours. But I dipped down to Thermal del Cañón, which is hot springs. Canyon, hot springs canyon maybe. I don't know, that's what I would say. Once again, using Ultrails is the best because on airplane mode, I downloaded the map and then so I have this information. I can zoom in and out. But on airplane mode, it shows your location with GPS. So I would just follow my dot and I know exactly where I am, and I can see all these trails and the elevations and the distances. Like I can do this. So yeah, airplane mode, GPS. Satellites are always there. Beautiful GPS satellites. So my plan was to go to here and then go back. So that was the original plan. Once I got to here, once I spent the night all the way over here, La Primavera, I actually ran into 2 hikers, 2 Colombians. that actually owned the Airbnb coffee farm that I went to afterwards. So we were talking. They spoke English, you know, pretty well. I give anyone credit that speaks multiple languages. Like, I'm just the dumb American who's like, do you speak English? So it's always great when I can like talk to people and they can practice their English with me. It's so fun. You know, we talk slow and it's fun. They were like, yeah, come to the Airbnb. It's a coffee farm. We got animals, peacocks, ostrich, plant, you know. So I was like, cool. Yeah. Give me your WhatsApp. So that was nice. Gabriel and Oscar. Shout out. And then they convinced me to come here. So they were coming this way. So they were heading down. And they were like, we were here. You should go here.
Hey Kraig, Death Valley in California would be another great place to research. The title would be catchy and it's actually pretty beautiful. Hikes are great. Just make sure you don't go in the summer.
Yeah, for sure. I've been there once and we pretty much just stayed in the car the whole time with the air conditioning because I think it might have been summer. It was with my family, like on a road trip. And yeah, that would be tough. I'm sure there might be a good hike there. There's like nothing, right? It's just it's like Mars, right? No, just death. Catchy title. Yeah, I'll definitely research it. It would be cool to do at least once, right? Never again. So I was like, okay, I gotta come to this hot spring, and I'm so glad I did. It started raining. And then I finally had a view. I was like, oh, there's huts. Awesome. Because I didn't know what there was. I just knew that there was a hot spring. I was prepared to not have any food, but they gave me some cheese and coffee and whatnot. I think it was like $2. They just asked for $2 to stay there and camp, but I gave them, I tip everyone because I'm not going to pay $2 for something awesome. Like, you're giving me coffee, you're letting me pet your dogs, you're putting up with me being there with a camera. So I'm always tipping pretty well when I go to these places. Good
Love
morning,
your
y'all.
fits. You've inspired me and I am doing my first overnight trip next weekend.
Woo woo. Nice. The overnights are, that's the next level. Cheers to that. Yeah, you gotta pack food, you gotta have your tent, you gotta know the temperature to make sure you're not too cold. You're probably gonna overpack because most everyone does. I remember the first Peru hike I went on, I packed so much stuff I didn't need. Yeah, have fun figuring that out. Cheers though. Man, look at this though. I was so excited. We got horses in the background. Rolled up, people were super nice. They were blasting metal music, like American songs parodied or, in Spanish, covered in Spanish. It's just hard metal, like Metallica and stuff. It's so funny. They made me coffee. I did not ask for coffee. They just made this for me. I was like, thank you. Gracias. Hung out with them in their hut. I was worried some of this music might be copyright claimed with YouTube, but we good. This pup was cute. There were a couple dogs.
Hey Kraig, I really enjoyed this video.
Thank you. Yeah. More coming. This was tough. I'm glad I went. And it's a lot to fly to Colombia and back, but hey, a 2-month gap, it was very much... we needed to shoot a video. And it was so tough. I'm glad I did it. I feel like I learned a lot. I learned a lot with every single hike, but I think there's going to be some bigger, better stuff coming up in the future real soon. So if you like this, thanks for sticking around. Really appreciate it. I'm having a blast. I love what I do. Love it. Having the best time. Chilling here in New York City, going on these trips, sharing it with y'all. Oh, in such a good mood. Okay, so this water was hot, but it was just the perfect amount of hotness. It's like way too hot when you get in, but then you get used to it and it's nice. When I rolled up, it was raining and yeah, you can see it's raining. It's like an annoying rain, but once you're in a hot tub, it don't matter. It could be snowing for all it doesn't matter. So the guys were like, this is the best spot. Set up your tent right here and just go in and out, in and out. I was like, gracias. Muchas gracias. Agua caliente. Si bien. I don't know. I learned French, so there's a little bit of French Spanglish going on. Oh, it was so nice.
Oh, yeah.
So it was still raining a little bit, so I didn't have my camera out there for too long. And it looks gross, but it wasn't. It's just clay. So there naturally forms like a clay lining that comes up when you brush it around too much. So that's what the brown floating stuff is, but it was nice. The dogs would come up to you and you could pat them. I stayed in there for probably an hour, like way too long. You shouldn't stay in water for too long, but I was just chilling. I was saying these hot springs are nice on a normal day, but after you've hiked through rainforest or jungle and like up in elevation, you've been rained on, you're muddy, you're gross, you're tired. Oh, it's the best. So happy I went here. Definitely like a highlight of the trip for sure. Very nice. And it was cool having dogs and horses chilling and a couple people to talk to. Yeah. Any overnight hikes in Europe that you, chat, could recommend to a person? Yeah, I'm only going to recommend what I've done. So you can see my list on YouTube. Agua caliente está muy rico. I don't know what you're saying. Sounds good though. It works for me. A sewage spot? Yeah, it looks gross, but it wasn't, yeah, it's fine. Man, it looks scary, yeah. And once it stopped raining, I jumped out, air dried, just ran around a little bit and just went to bed. I was tired. This is a new liner. It's a little liner, or light. It's a little lighter than the one that I had. Tiny difference. But it's good to get new ones every so often because they can get gross, even after you wash them. This was next morning. I didn't really shoot any sunrise shots because there was no sunrise. It's overcast. I didn't see the peak of Tolima again. I went all the way around the mountain, pretty much the volcano, but I never saw the peak because it was just overcast. But it was nice to jump in here in the morning to warm up, wake up. Yeah, dogs packed up. So everyone, I should add this to my website because this is like a pod from Hyperlate. It's the small version. I need to find it and make it. I don't know if they have it on the website. We'll see. But I fit all of my sleeping stuff. So that's the sleeping quilt, the pillow, the pad, and the liner, all in there. And it's waterproof-ish, 99%. So I put that at the bottom of my pack because that's where, my lower back and butt is touching the pack. So I want that to be nice and soft. I'm not going to put like my tent stakes or my spoon, my spork right at that moment. I put the nice soft pillowish thing. So other than that, everything else is just thrown into the pack. There's really no order other than the nice soft pillow at the bottom of my pack in a waterproof bag. Yeah. What video editing software? I'm using Final Cut. You can see everything I use on craigadams.com. You can see the sunrise perfect from the pool. Can you explain how you navigate while walking? It's never shown in your videos. Yeah, I just have all trails open up on my phone and I can see my GPS dot and then I can see my route. I just follow along the line. Yep. So just setting out on that disgusting, overcast, muddy, brown. This is shooting. It was just not ideal. It is what it is, though. I'm just gonna record it and share the experience. It was a wet and gray one. I will say that. Like this shot would have been gorgeous with some blue sky and some puffy cumulus clouds, but whatever. Made it down to this valley. These were nice shots. I liked walking into here. So I rolled up. You can kind of see a little building there. I think I have footage of it. Oh yeah, shots that didn't make it into the edit. Wide shot of me eating at the first spot. That did not make it. Me waking up. Wide shots of like the hut. It would have been nice to have an establishing shot, but that did not make it. I just didn't like it. Just didn't fit. There was one shot of the clouds that was nice, but then it quickly disappeared, the blue sky. So it didn't make sense to show this and then show all the overcastness. So, you know, does not make it. Oh, and I was testing these Skinners. So these are like socks with grip on the bottom. I was trying to use them as like at camp, drying my shoes and my socks kind of thing. But the thing is, when it's muddy and you're at camp, you want flip-flops, thin flip-flops that can just be quickly washed off and dries quickly. If these got muddy, which they did, you can see there's just no easy way to wash them when I'm out there. And if I did try to wash the mud off, they would be wet for much longer than just flip-flops. So these do not work well. I got rid of them. I'm not going to use them. I do not recommend them. Yeah, so I rolled up to this. This is actually a schoolhouse, and I thought there might be some food in this spot. I didn't know much about this location. So I made it all the way down to El Salto. You would think that there would be something here, but this is the school. So it's a refugio and a school. So maybe in more common times there would be some food and shelter there, but there was just no one. So I was like, okay, whatever, I'll just push on. And this was a valley, and I had to go up this really steep path, over this pass, and it started pouring for this section, and it was so wet. It was so muddy, and it sucked going uphill after going downhill for so long. And this was just such a long way to go. Raining for most of it, really, really muddy for this section, and you can see the amount of zigzag that's going on here. Yeah, this was probably the roughest section, and that was really, really rough. Once I got into this valley, it was a little nicer and a little more fun, and I'd start to run into farms, passing dogs and whatnot here. And then there was some like terrace farming here, which was really pretty, but it was raining. So everything kind of sucks when it rains. This is what it is though. Yeah. So iPhone footage of me being miserable, hiking in the rain and the mud. These really nice drone shots. I was really grateful to have like some good shots for this area. And then this, I was like, okay, this could be thumbnail. Because I'm always looking for the thumbnail.
Sweet first name dude. Are most of your sounds added in post or recorded in video?
Yeah, everything is recorded in the camera. You can see. Like. So I bring the footsteps as a J cut. You can hear the stream, river in the distance. Yeah, nothing too crazy. Nothing too crazy. Check people on YouTube. I don't really watch hiking stuff on YouTube at all. That hike looked like a rough slog. Yes, that's a good way to describe it. How long did it take to plan my trip? A day, probably. Do you make any of your trails by yourself, or do you find them somewhere? I find most of my trails on All Trails, and then I do research after the fact on YouTube and blogs, Google. Trails in China? I don't know. Is any of this graded? No. Some of it's corrected though, just because I had mistakes, over or underexpose. This was a little baby river. If you've seen my Alaska video, those were scary rivers or streams. This was a baby stream. Yeah, I thought this was pretty. I loved the moss on these fences. That was cool. But once again, just raining. Rain, rain, rain. And 15 Mile. It was a really long day. And Batman. This Batman kid was the highlight of day 3. Spoke no English. Tried to communicate with him. He was just happy to be there in his Batman PJs. Okay, too blessed for stress. Too stressed. I forget what comedian that is. It was like Batman joke. John Mulaney? Yeah, Batman John Mulaney joke. That's what I kept thinking about. I got basically chocolate, hot chocolate and cheese.
Your video on Torres del Paine inspired me to put it on my bucket list. Love your videos. Keep it up.
Nice. Yeah, that location is just gorgeous. Very, very regulated and protected for a good reason. You know, there's a lot of people trying to go there. Yeah, have fun. Do the whole O. Don't just do the W. Do the O and the W. If you go all the way to down there, do the full thing. Have fun. I would like to go back to that area. There's lots of trails to do down there. And yeah, wrapped up. So I jumped in a Jeep. I could have, so you could probably hear the sirens in the background. So I ended up rolling into, was it Yuntas? So there were a lot of restaurants and hotels and refuges. I could have stayed the night there, which I probably should have. I probably should have just like snagged a hotel. There was, where was it? I think right here. No. Oh, it's this. Yeah. So this is a really fancy, it looked beautiful. Like it had stables and looked really nice. All this stuff was kind of budget, but this looked really nice. If I knew that I was coming this way, it's tough to know how long it was going to take me to get to this spot, but I regret not staying here because once I was in the Jeep, I passed it and I was like, oh, that looks nice. Oh man, that would have been perfect. So yeah, I need to do a little, like I just didn't know that I was going to come this way. I thought I was going to do an out and back. So yeah, it's good to have a nice hot shower and food spot for your escape. So I jumped in a Jeep. I think it was like, I think they wanted like $3 or something to go all the way here. And it took a long time, like 2 hours or maybe an hour and a half, because it's a really tough road. But yeah, they want like $2 for that. So I was like, no. So rode all the way down. They dropped me off in, was it Imbagay? Jumped in a hotel. Didn't film any of it because I was just like escaping. Nothing really too interesting, just a budget hotel. Got some food, took a shower, tried to clean things, and walked to the bus terminal, which is right, I don't know, somewhere. And took a really long bus ride back to Armenia. This road was a nightmare. I was feeling so sick. You can see how crazy it is. And there was a lot of traffic, beautiful views, but holy crap, that was such a nightmare. It took so long to go from here to here. And then I jumped on another bus and then took that to Salento. And then grabbed my bag, which I kept at, well, I've got it right here. I stayed at the Coffee Tree Boutique Hostel with the 2 dogs. The price is up. Yeah, there was no one there, so I was staying in like the multiple room. I think I've got footage of it. Hold on. Oh yeah, some clips I didn't use. Me in front of this drone shot area. Me just walking here, I didn't use that because it was just redundant. I don't think I used me. So yeah, since there's no one at the hostel, it's like you get your own private room if you book these multiple bunk rooms. So very cheap. Very cheap, cheap, cheap. Very nice. I was drying out the tent, drying out the sleeping bag, or airing out the sleeping bag. And then I went to the coffee farm, which was, where was it? Coffee farm was over north of Kimbaya. So I went to, I took a bus back to Armenia and then took a bus to Kimbaya. And then they took me on a motorbike to this area, like this coffee farm area, and much flatter coffee farm country, I guess. But yeah, literally cheese and dogs everywhere. Yankee Sierra. Yeah. This is the part where you hang out of the Jeep. Reminds me of the Joker in The Dark Knight. Yeah, I think about that every single time I do that. You are correct. And the coffee farm was so fun because Oscar was one of the hikers that I met on the first night, and he showed me around, like his family and all the dogs and the cats and all the, like, all this food was so good. Ants, dogs, coffee. Stayed in this little hut. I basically just ate food that I found around the farm and made it back to New York. Yeah, quick trip, but I enjoyed it. And that's the timeline. Yeah, so we can this is a Q&A, so I can answer some questions now. So before we wrap up the timeline section, I'm going to talk about the gear, and I'll talk about I'll talk about the gear that I used, what I changed, what I plan to change in the future. But if you have any questions about the timeline, editing, filmmaking, anything in general, just let me know. I'll try to pay attention now. It's really tough to multitask. Thanks for hanging around. This is really fun. I like this. I hope it's chill. You know, we got the fireplace. Can we get some fireplace love? Twitch gang, y'all know what emote to do. Want to work in the US and settle down there. Talk about the G Master 12 to 24. Yeah, it's just a little too wide. I like the 2.8, and it's the size and weight difference between it and the 1635 is very small, and I would like a little bit tighter, and I don't need the 12. The 12 gets a little too crazy on the edges, so I might switch. I bought it from B&H, so B&H does not like it when you return things. I might have to just sell the 12 to 24 and eat the cost and just buy the 1635 again. I've had it before. It's amazing to watch. It just looks so muddy and rough. Yeah, I don't know how many people are gonna want to go on this hike after my video. I feel bad. I don't think I did the tourism. Alex, and yeah, you got the fireplace, my dude. Umbrella reminds me of the guy in Kilimanjaro. Yes. Yeah, I forget his name, but yeah, he's a OG Sherpa, like an actual, like multiple Everest summits. I always remember him and how impressed I was that he had a umbrella. He was like 3D chess, like thinking, levels deep above everyone else on that hike because he was dry. Everyone had their ponchos and their raincoats, but he didn't have anything. He just had whatever he had on and his umbrella, and he was the driest out of everyone. I was like, all right, team umbrella, I get it. And then with Curtis, we've done some desert stuff in Utah, and it makes sense to have an umbrella against the sun when it's super hot. So team umbrella, let's go. How much footage do you have? How many gigabytes? Yeah, let me try to see. I should have that. Go to home, Final Cut X, show package contents. Okay, yeah, I can show that. So we've got the Colombia event. It's got pretty much most everything. I've got the imports from iPhones as separate events, but they're not too big. So the whole Colombia event is 460 gigabytes, but a lot of that is probably render files. So 150 is render files. So the original media plus the imports from the iPhone, 4 gigabytes. Let's say 260 gigabytes of footage captured for this trip. It's not too bad. Much, very... I've got a 1 terabyte in this MacBook Air, so seems about right. If I did a month-long hike or the PCT, I would need a hard drive, but I'm fine with this.
Titles were great. The detail on your videos have been stellar. What's the best prep that you recommend to solo hike long distances?
Thank you. Very nice for you to say. Yeah, I try to put the detail. It's been interesting to separate this info in stream form because this is basically what I did to record myself to make the guides that would go at the end of the videos. So it's just a different way to do the same thing. And I kind of like this because the questions you're asking are great. So thank you so much for asking questions. And I'll try to pay attention. I know of a lot of you are probably like frustrated at not getting me to see your questions. So thanks for the patience. What's the best prep you recommend to solo hike? Just be a walker. Just be a walker. Anytime you listen to listen to the audiobook and walk. You listen to a podcast, walk. You listen to music, walk. I love New York City because I have friends here. I know I have history. I have such great memories on all these different places. The food is amazing. And it's a tourism destination. It's like destination. It's one of the best places to visit in the world as a tourist. And I live here. It's like I'm always on a vacation. That's what it feels like, and I'm so grateful for that. But the best thing about New York is it is a walking city. I walk everywhere. It's so fun to walk. It's safe. It's beautiful. It's fun. I'm walking like probably 10 miles a day in nice weather here. So just do that. Get a sense for your distance. Just know what it feels like to walk 20 miles. Do it. On nice flat pavement where you can stop for a coffee or lunch or whatever, where it's nice and safe, low risk, do 20 miles. See how that feels. And then start doing it where there's more risk, less people, and more hills. The hills are different, so get used to that. Yeah. Quilt versus sleeping bag. I kind of make my quilt into a sleeping bag by cinching it. So I like it. I have had really great success with the one that I have on my website. The fill's been great. I think it's smart to have, it just depends on where you're going. Like if you're going to really cold hikes, you have to have a really expensive, thick, heavy sleeping bag. But the one that I have now is light and is totally fine for temperatures down to 20 degrees. So below freezing. Yeah. And let me tell you, the life hack, my dudes, is these hand warmers, these hot hands. I'm bringing these on every cold hike from now on, because if you just crack open one of these, shake it up before you go to bed in your tent, in your sleeping bag, and then just toss it on the outside of your liner in the sleeping bag at your feet, it'll boost probably 10 degrees, and it'll keep your feet warm, which are the first things to go cold at the night and is hard to warm up. You can warm up your torso much easier, and like you can put a hat on and cover up, but the feet are always the first thing to go cold. So the hand warmer gives you an extra 10, maybe 15 degrees, and they last like 8 hours. Oh man, they're so good. Much lighter and cheaper than having like a thicker, heavier sleeping bag, to be honest. So, and they're cheap, they're great, and they're safe for the environment. Obviously, leave no trace, but they're good. I like them. They're great. Kindly invite you to Turkey. Yeah. We're gonna do a whole section. Of where to go. How do you keep all your gear charged in these remote places? Yeah, that's a good question. So I've got this RAV power. I think it's like a 20,000 power bank, which is pretty overkill for an overnight. Honestly, overkill for a 3-day. So on my 3-day hike in Colombia, I probably used this like 10% because I have 3 of these Sony Z batteries for my camera, and you probably get, I probably use 75% of a battery each day. So by the end of the hike, I had probably, I still had battery left. I didn't recharge it at all. I could have recharged with this. And then my phone goes down on airplane mode about 50% per day. So if I recharged it once, I probably just recharged it once on my Colombia hike. So I had more than enough power. And then I used all of my drone batteries, but I could have recharged it with the bank. So for a 3-day hike with this and this setup, I have more than enough power. And just knowing that is a nice thing. If you're going on your first hike and you're not sure, it can be a little stressful. But if I went for a 5-day hike, I would probably use up all of this, and I would recharge this one night, and then I'd recharge this probably twice. And I can recharge the AirPods, which I'll bring for music and audiobooks and podcasts. But this usually lasts the whole hike because it recharges in the case. And then this, this is the microphone lasts really long. It takes USB-C. Yeah, not a big deal. This light, I love this light because it recharges with micro USB. So I try to make all of the electronics I have rechargeable with this brick. So, because this will run out and you don't want to be out there with no light. I would have my phone as a backup, but I can always recharge that with this. Yeah, worked really well. Have you missed a 70-200? No, I like the POV. 2.8 is nice, but I could get away with f4. Y'all know I shot a bunch of hiking films with this Sony a6600 with a 10-18 f4. Looks fine, dude. The Chile hike that was shot on a point and shoot Sony RX100 with a built-in lens. Yeah, the camera doesn't matter too much. You can do a lot with a little. Kraig style 10-mile New York City video. Well. What if I showed you a test? Do I dare show you? So yeah, I recently did a test where I just went out for a nice little walk and walking around Brooklyn, Kraig style with the tripod. I just spent the entire day walking, listening to my books and recording footage of me walking. Some of the footage is okay. Most of it's boring. It was weird. It's definitely strange being around people so much. Versus being alone out in nature. Look at all those chickens.
Kraig, have you heard of Wim Hof method for cold and high altitude adaptation?
What is that, like breathing? Yeah, I think that's like a Tim Ferriss kind of thing. Doesn't seem that interesting to me. That's like really pushing the limits. Is that what I'm thinking about? I don't know. Yeah, so I'm kind of messing around with the idea of doing like a city walking video, but it's the concept just isn't there yet. Yeah, I got a good thing going. Just gonna stick hot and cold high altitude adaptation. Obviously I messed up with Kilimanjaro, so I live at sea level, so I feel like I'm in shape. I could be more in shape. Everyone could get better at climbing, but still, I think what happened with Kilimanjaro was that I was legit sick. I think I had the flu, and I was just super stressed with the people, and just being sick in high altitude is just a disaster. It's just asking for it. So what's my favorite hike? Picos de Europa, Spain. The food, the white bean, the beer, the bread, the cheese, the animals, the views, the refugio, the last night was just so nice. Thank you, man. Camera doesn't matter. It's editing in Final Cut X that matters. Have you considered traveling to any other continents later when travel restrictions are down? Yeah, we're going to wrap up this stream with where I should hike next. We'll talk about that. And I'm going to show my future hikes list. I've got a map of everything I hope to do. So y'all can help me dictate my schedule for 2021. You can pass the tripod attachment in your bag in the airport? Yeah. Never had any issue with that. Never had an issue with the drone. Never had an issue with the tripod. Tent stakes, nothing. No issues. Carry on. Language barrier? Yeah, I'm just patient. English is a superpower in the fact that, you know, the dollar and the English language is pretty much in most places, especially the touristy areas. Poland? Yeah. Do you ever shoot 4K 120? No, I don't do any slow motion. Doesn't seem really necessary to me. Yeah. I'm going to try Killy again, probably. I think it'd be fun to do with Curtis. I didn't want to remind you of the Kilimanjaro story. Of the umbrella in your action. Yeah. Look at all those chickens. Thank you, Mikey. I appreciate that. Y'all are so kind. We're just hanging out. So awesome. We got like 660 people. Jeez, so crazy. Just chilling. I'm excited about New York City and just all the trips and walking, coffee, dogs. I'm looking into getting a dog. So I'm actually employing my mom. She lives upstate and she's, you know, we've had multiple family dogs growing up. So I gave her the green light. If she finds like the right dog, I gave her permission to just get it for me. So we'll see if that actually happens. That would be fascinating. The girl is loud. Girl, chill. Okay. Do you remember your Wall Street Robin Hood skit? Yeah, it's been a while. It's been like, what, 3 years now? 4 years? Come to Ecuador? I was thinking about going to Ecuador right after Colombia, but I was tired. Do you hand launch your drone? No, I hand catch it, but I think hand launching it would be fine. It's not that big of a deal. To start the propellers, you need both thumbs to go down. So I just don't know. It's like an awkward thing. If there's just a button I could press to take off, maybe there is. I just don't know, but it's not that big of a deal. If it was easier, like if it could just sense that I threw it and it just started and hovered, that would be dope. Like if I just had it on in my hand, propellers out, and you kind of just like toss it a little bit, it's like, that would be sick. I would like that. Do you use video color grading? No, I don't grade anything. No grades. Try to make it as natural, authentic as possible. What do you think about the Be Free over the Sawyer for longer trips? Be Free is great. No issues. It's awesome. I love it. If I was going on a longer trip, I would probably bring... Even then, I don't think I need anything else. Like some people have smart water bottles or just something in addition if they go to camp, but I just feel like I would always set up camp to boil water and cook where there's running water, like a stream. So yeah, I think I'd be fine with the Be Free. Because if you boil water, you don't have to filter it. But I would filter it anyway. Mount Whitney? Yeah, it's very snowy right now. So it'd take some time, but I've been talking to Curtis about hiking Mount Whitney. I think it'd be a good one.
Check out Kungsleden in northern Sweden if you ever come to Europe.
Yeah, it's
It's epic.
It's a really popular one. I've definitely checked it out. I've watched some videos. I've had some friends go that invited me, but I think I went for the Tour de Mont Blanc instead. So, yeah, it's on the list. I just can't go to Sweden right now. Literally can't enter the country. I would love to go to Iceland right now. Can't enter the country. Have you found a need? I would love to hike with trekking poles, MC. That would be nice, but it would just, every single shot would take longer. And I've been wanting to switch to a pyramid tent with trekking poles as the stakes in the middle, because it would be lighter, quicker, easier, but maybe it's time. If I went for a really long hike where I can put my camera away more, there's just the friction with the camera setting up. Yeah. What percent of your shots actually end up in the film? You kind of see. I don't know the actual percentages, but it's not too much. I've definitely gotten much better at knowing what is actually useful for the film and not. So, yeah. Hiking in Germany. I don't know of any German mountains. I don't think I have any. Okay, let's switch to my list of future hikes. So how can we crowdsource this and make this much better than y'all constantly just trying to get me to go to different places? Because it's tough. Some of y'all have really good recommendations. Like Hornstrandir, I had no idea that existed until a week before I booked my ticket to Iceland. And a subscriber, like a couple who had hiked there for their honeymoon, were like, you should go to this place. It's awesome. And I was like, oh, cool. Okay. Checked it out, went, and yeah, it was awesome. So y'all have some really good ideas. It's just really hard to hear it all. And I think a voting up and down system would help everyone. It would help me, it would help y'all. I think Reddit is probably the best place for a voting up and down system. So DM me if you have a better idea, but it's looking like Reddit is probably where I'm going to try to crowdsource that information. And it won't even be like me focused. It'll be solo silent hike subreddit, something like that. So, yeah, every fall I'm going to do this. There's a couple East Coast trails that I would like to do. Long Trail would be really cool. New England Trail. Arcadia National Park up in Maine would be great in the fall. There's no mountains, but it would still be pretty if the colors are there. And I've never been, so that would be really cool. I'm just not that interested in these Appalachian trails that much. Like, I don't think there's ever a day when I do the AT. It just is a tree tunnel, and I just don't want to put myself through that. PCT would just be a lot. Maybe I'll do the PCT, but I think I'd rather do I think 500 miles is probably my limit. It would be once in a lifetime to actually do the PCT or the Continental Divide, like these ultra through hikes, but I'm having fun doing sections. I don't need to hike for 4 months straight. 2.5 thousand miles is crazy from Mexico to Canada. But once the weather gets warmer, I cannot wait to get out here. One that I'm really looking forward to is the Wind River High Route. Oh boy. I've seen some videos. I've had some hiking friends go out there. Curtis wants to do it. Man. So I've taken my car and I've driven this, I believe, or maybe on this side. But this is all flat. And these mountains just come out of nowhere. So they are just completely surrounded in like plains. Yeah, when I was in Grand Teton, I drove through Jackson and whatnot. But this range looks beautiful from this road, and I cannot wait. It's a long one, 104 miles. So Tour de Mont Blanc was 120, but this would be great. And I would have to hire a service to like pick me up and drive me back to my car. I think it's a bit expensive. but that's probably what I gotta do because it's not a loop. I really like loop hikes because then I'm much more self-sufficient. Have you done the Grand Canyon rim to rim? Well, well, well. Sounds like y'all need to check my YouTube videos. White Mountains. Oh, yeah. Do I have that marked? I thought I had that marked. That's Long Trail, right? Oh, no, no. White Mountains up here. Okay, so I need to make... Yeah. My boy, Ryan, has been trying to get me to come up here for a while now. I gotta do these at some point. If I'm an Adirondack ADK boy, I gotta do the White Mountains at some point. I could probably do that this fall. Yeah, this is a hard area to go though. Very similar to the roughness of the ADK, so that'll be cool. I look forward to that. I like this section of the East Coast. I don't like this section for hiking. I marked the Superior hiking trail, but this looks like a nightmare as well. This looks super boring and flat. Hey, you can do whatever. It's all about perspective, but I'm going to have my opinion. I would like to hit up all of the major, one video for each national park. So I've been to Yellowstone just as a tourist driving through and whatnot, but doing a through hike or a multiple day hike, 150 miles. There's not too much elevation gain, but this would probably be gorgeous. It'd be fun to at least do once in my life. You pass some roads, but this is pretty. There's no one out here. There's no one out here either. That would be gorgeous. This is a huge national park. Yeah, Wind River would be sick. I'm definitely going to do that in 2021 for sure. Solitude. This looks great. Wilderness. The nice thing about Wilderness is it's pretty much you can camp as you please. Way less regulated than national parks. This is a nice loop. That would be gorgeous. This looks nice. But if I do the Wind River, it's probably pretty similar to this. So I wouldn't do these two videos back to back. Or, if I do this in 2021, I could do this in 2022. I just like having diversity with the trails that I go on. So hit up the Pemi Loop or the Presidential Traverse. Yeah, I gotta do them all. Dude, there's national parks in every country. It's kind of crazy. Like, as cool as we think the US is, like... Canada has some amazing mountains to hike all up and down here, and then over on here, like there's some cool stuff to do. Even just Canada's cool. Alaska has so much to do that no one knows about. So many volcanoes up and down Mexico. So I think this is the tallest. I'm not even gonna try to say that. So 15 miles. Yeah, look at these volcanoes. Boy. This would probably be similar to my Guatemala one. So once again, like I just did a volcano in this Central America area. So I wouldn't do this in 2021. But this looks cool. And I love Mexico. I'd love to fly into Mexico City. I want to check out Oaxaca. Yeah, Veracruz is gorgeous. That would be cool to go to. I've been to Panama, been to Costa Rica, been to Guatemala, been to Mexico, Colombia now. Ooh, yeah. Okay, what is this? Mount. Yeah, this is a weird one. Probably not 2021, but that would be a cool one to go to. Oh, this was the other area. There's a lot. These mountains are kind of insane. Colombia's got a lot of hiking to do, but this I think requires a lot of permits and you need a guide to do it. But this loop looks once in a lifetime. This looks like a very gorgeous loop. 17,000 feet peaks. Yeah, those are some big boys. A lot of them too. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah. That looks like a once in a lifetime. Gonna do that eventually. Ecuador. This loop, this crater. This would be pretty cool. This looks a little touristy, but this looks cool. I just think Ecuador would be too similar to Colombia, so I don't want to do these too similar. I just did Colombia, so I'll probably do this next year, maybe. I love Peru. I've been there 3 times. I'm going to keep going back there over and over again. Something about Peru is just great. I've been up in this area, and I've done a 1 hike, but this looks like a once in a lifetime. This looks like a difficult mother. Very isolated. I would probably have to pack the most food that I've ever packed before, just because I would want to be self-sufficient. I think there's one town right here, and maybe, I don't know. There might be resupply spots right here. Yeah, right here and here. But this looks gorgeous. I've heard such great things about this. I think this is going to be like a world famous hike, and I want to get in there before too many people know about it. I want to make it. I want to ruin it. Get too many people going there. It is what it is. Yeah, this is a beautiful little town nestled with great views of all these mountains. There's so much hiking to do all up and down here. Does this have an airport though? If I could fly into here, that would be perfect. I don't think it does though. Because I remember the bus ride was long. It's not that bad, but I would pay bank to fly in. Yeah. Oh well. So you fly into Lima. Super cheap to get to Lima, big city. And you just take a really long bus ride up to here. And then y'all know I started my hikes going to Cusco, but this I really want to go back. So this is probably very similar to Choqquequirá. Going to Machu Picchu was the plan for Choqquequirá. I don't know if I'm ever saying that right. So these are the mountains that I originally did, but doing a full hike all the way to end at Machu Picchu would be super, super fun. I checked. It's pretty, I think it's closed right now. And it's not the best time to go. So I want to go when it's like the best season. Because the Inca Trail would be cool, but I think this is like a lesser known Inca Trail-ish thing that you could do. So I think that would be really sick. Jurassic Coastline, longest UK national trail. So yeah, what I'm looking for might be different than other people. Like the longest trail doesn't interest me that much. I just want I want to see and get as much in the shortest amount of time as possible. Like everyone talks about the Camino de Santiago over here in Spain, and I'm sure it would be a great pilgrimage, but 560 miles of town to town to town with some mountains would be, I don't know about that. So, you know, when people tell me, they're like, you should do this really long hike, like Hadrian Wall Path, I'm sure it's interesting, but not really what I'm looking for as far as the mountains, the isolation. Wicklow Way in Ireland looks great. This looks beautiful. Yeah. There are barely any. You cross some roads, but that looks pretty isolated. That looks like a great hike. I've never been on Scotland. I cannot wait to go to Scotland. I'm working on some sponsorships to get me there. This looks like a super long one. John Muir. I would probably do West Highland Way if I came up here to Scotland. That's a pretty popular one, but 100 miles, I'd crush it. This looks beautiful. And is that it? Oh, this one, Cape Wrath. This looks a bit more isolated, and I don't know, it's an out and back. I guess I would go up and then come back down to here maybe. Oh no, I could get picked up here. Just so much, I gotta figure out like how to escape. The escape for a lot of these out and backs are just difficult. Like that's why I love loops. Love loops. Isle of Skye, yeah.
Good morning, y'all.
Good morning, y'all. Thanks for that sub on Twitch, my dude. Twitch Prime sub. Yeah, Isle of Skye is right It's here. It's like we're playing GeoGuessr. All Trails doesn't have it, so I know it's there and it looks gorgeous. I've seen some footage. It looks great. Oh man. So I was writing a treatment for like an Iceland trip. So as soon as I'm vaccinated and everything starts to open up a bit more, in June, if I can, I'll go to Iceland in June. And my treatment is to do the entire ring road and to make that like a super vlog. It'd probably take me a couple days. Yeah, I would take my time. I would take like a whole week and a half to do the ring road, because I would try to do all of these hikes along the way and make these, if it's a popular hike that deserves its own video, I would make it a separate video, but everything else would just get absorbed into the super vlog. Just the multiple day good old ring road. What is it? 900 kilometers. And this is kind of close to Hornstrandir, but I can take a ferry here. And I think there's some really tall mountains with some, oh, this is a glacier, melting glacier. But yeah, if you like Hornstrandir, this would be gorgeous as well. And this looks super isolated. Oh, just gorgeous. I want to go back so badly. Oh, a true exploration of Iceland, in other words. Yes. So I've been to Iceland twice already. This third time would be doing it well. Take my time. It's expensive to rent a car for 2 weeks in Iceland. What is it? It's like maybe $100 a day, I think. I don't know. But yeah, I definitely gotta go back to where it all started with Hornstrandir and do it all. I love Iceland. It's so great. Last time I was there, I was here, took a flight to this town. Oh my God, I miss this town so much. Oh, just beer and coffee and the fish soup at this spot. Holy crap. This is like top 10 meals of my life. I miss it. Just taking a bike and just riding around the coast. Little planes come in. And then taking a ferry over to here to do the Hornstrandir. What a magical place. I'll go back. Greenland, Arctic Circle Trail. This would be once in a lifetime. Pretty tough to get to. I think you have to go to like Denmark to fly there. So I would fly to UK, fly to Denmark, fly there, and then fly back. So that would be interesting. Very isolated, but how many people can say that they've been to Greenland? That'd be so cool. Just to do. Didn't know Colombia was in Iceland. Yeah, where do you store your laptop while you're hiking? Yeah, I just keep it in my duffel. In the hotel or the hostel. Yeah. There, it's pretty standard to just hold bags. Man, just so much to do in Italy. Look at all this in the Alps. Switzerland. I've been wanting to do GR20 for the longest time.
Have you ever heard of the Fiery Gizzard Trail in Tennessee? I think you'd really like it. Probably a day hike for you, but it's 13 miles of gorgeous.
Is it all below tree line? Tennessee must be, right? So I think it'd probably be gorgeous if there were no bugs and it's not hot. So that rules out the summer. So probably fall. Yeah, the whole East Coast is gorgeous when you get the perfect fall foliage. So that's when I would go. Other than that, I don't think I would do any East Coast hikes. Yeah, GR20. Oof, I cannot wait to do this one. I don't know. Something about it makes me want to do it. It's technically French, I believe. But yeah, just fly in here, hike down, fly out of here. If you hit the weather right, it's just beautiful Mediterranean vibes. And then my friend Chase on YouTube, Chase Mountains, y'all should know him. Great hiker, great dude, fitness bro. Just recently did this during lockdown, and wow, what a beast to do 560 mile hike the elevation is insane because you're going up and down. There's another route that kind of skirts on top of the mountain more than going down into every valley, but still, like, what, Mediterranean to Atlantic? That's once in a lifetime. I'm going to do this at some point, but that would probably be my most ambitious hike ever, because that takes over a month to do. 45, 50 days probably. I gotta beat his time. Chase, I'm coming for you, boy. Whatever you did, I'm gonna do it faster. Yeah. And then just, you know, little bits and pieces as I do my research. Kazakhstan. Kyrgyzstan. Lost to do Nepal. Japan would be sick. Oh man, just so much to do. Anywho, what is the best way? I feel like doing a Reddit would be good. I don't know any in Germany. Yeah, we got to get the Reddit up so y'all can submit suggestions, and then upvote, downvote based on what you think. Yeah. Chase did the GR11. Yeah. Spanish version. GR10 is the French one. Okay. Yeah. Yep. Italian Traverse. So much to do. Okay, hold on. We have no mods. Okay, hold on. How do I even... Let me just take 5 seconds. I don't even know how to do modding. Whatever. Oh, it's right here. Boom. And... boom. Okay, cool. Well, this was fun. This video will live on the Kraig Adams Streams YouTube channel. Let's pull up this site. So, y'all know this. YouTube channel for hiking, travel, retrospectives, trying to do more video essays in the future. Instagram, the podcasts, audio. You know, there's Apple, Spotify, Google. And it's, what has it been? Yeah, these are kind of Q&As, I would guess. I've got some like topics that I like talking about, but this will evolve over time. So I'll probably make this video, well, this is such a visual thing. It would be hard to listen to this, so I'll probably just leave this as a video podcast. But in the future, I would love to do just general Q&As with y'all, and talk about any topic that I'm interested in. So those podcasts will be there. Spotify, you can listen to music. The Streams channel is where this video is going to live. It's new. Speaking of, Chase Mountains, currently Hannah, podcasts, some older ones, Matt Diavella, John Z, I miss you. Elena had a great PCT. Jupiter, great hike, ultra lightweight hiker. Yeah, so this video is going to go up on here. You can subscribe there. And Strava, all my runs, all trails, all my hikes, prints. I'm adding new prints every so often, but we've got 4 of them right now. And you can email me if you want. When am I coming back to Clubhouse? Yeah, Clubhouse is pretty much the same as this and Twitch, but with voicemail. Yeah, it's good if I want pretty much like people to call in and give their feedback in the form of voice instead of just chat. So, you know, chat is, there's really no difference. It's just the format of feedback. So I kind of enjoy this monopoly on voice, but it would be cool. GR5 is famous. Good morning, y'all. Thanks for that sub on Twitch. Don't you worry that your trip will be canceled by COVID? I book everything really quickly. So like within 2 or 3 days, So that's why I haven't been traveling the last like year. You know, things have been changing, but I'm very optimistic. Like New York City's popping. The U.S. is doing really great with vaccinations. Things are going to start opening up, I'd say, within the next 30 days. Internationally, might take a little bit more time, but there's a lot of hiking to do domestically, and that's really where I'm focusing. I'm not planning anything in Europe. Like I've got some people, some companies that want to like book trips. I had some trips to Nepal booked through companies for last year that all got canceled. So domestic stuff will work for now. Are you actually alone when you go on these hikes? Have you? Yeah, I is alones. Looking forward to the next hike. Yeah, what will be the next hike? I don't know. I'm making a schedule though. Wind River you can expect for 2021 for sure. Yeah. Four Loop Pass, we're going to do that in fall with a summit. I think Curtis might join me again, but we'll see. Because we kind of messed that up last year. We went there like a week after the fall foliage all fell off the trees. Bear Can? Yeah, I'll do Bear Can. It sucks though, but yeah. Were you nervous getting on a plane traveling? Nah.
Did you think about hiking the Sierra Nevada in Colombia as an option? Tallest mountain range near the ocean in the world. Atlantic.
Oh, is that the northern tip? I think I had some people showing me that. That looks gorgeous, but I just did Colombia, so it's going to be a while before I go back to the country, just because I like to mix it up. Yeah. Ethiopia looks gorgeous. I've actually got some friends who live there, so yeah, I have to visit Ethiopia at some point in my life. It's a beautiful place. It's booming. Lots of I don't know, just the history of it and just all the development is kind of interesting to me. I would read a book about it. Canada, yeah, I've been to Canada. I haven't done too much research, but there's lots to do. Brazil's pretty flat. Let's be honest. There's just forest, Amazon rainforest. Ain't too many mountains in Brazil. Not too much to hike in Brazil, to be honest. Yeah. Yeah. So, just depends. Okay. All right, Ryan has been banned. Boom. Ban hammer. Okay, awesome. So I'm going to try to figure out how to do some kind of suggest a hike thing in the future, but this was great. Yeah, thanks for hanging out. I'm going to go. Is it still raining? I'm going to go eat dinner. All right. Peace out, y'all. Thanks. Cheers.